So in the previous video, I picked this up for $200 with a graphics card, and it's a Case Lab case. I believe it's the Merlin edition, and it had a complete computer in it. 1,000-watt power supply, two 980s, the SLI block. It's an i7 5930, 32 gigs of DDR4, and this whole water cooling monster. I mean, pretty beefed up. And for $200, it's pretty good. And some may say, well, the older hardware is really not worth much. There is some value in the sense that if you're familiar with these Cooler Master cases, how hard they are to find, how well built they are, they're worth a pretty penny. Since the previous video, and even then, I've had a couple of offers on this, just sharing it with people I know, and I could easily make my money back and then some significantly just for this case. But I think I'm going to hold on to this for a while, which is a gamble, because sometimes the longer you hold on to things, the less value they could be worth later on. But I'm going to have fun with it. So in today's video, we're going to strip this computer apart, clean all the system. As you saw in the previous video, I mean, there was a little corrosion, crust. The flow in this thing is not good. So I'm thinking that there might be some blockage and junk inside this block. Same thing over here. So we'll take it apart, clean it, flush out the radiator, and then this case, we need to give it some love because, you know, the previous guy, he was vaping, and well, the dust is sticking to it. It's a little sticky in some parts. Yeah, we definitely got to dive deep into that. And I want to get this thing running. So in the previous video, we saw that it was running, but I want to get this thing running with Windows, some games, just kind of play. I love playing with older hardware. That's why I do this. I definitely enjoy that. And then maybe we'll keep this board. Maybe we'll put it in a build, just put an air cooler on, find some air cooling action for this graphics cards, put a decent budget build together. I could flip it that way, make some money. So, but for now, let's clean this, see if we can get this thing running properly, test the temperatures, how well this thing performs or doesn't perform. So before we do that, I got to go to Home Depot, not sponsored, and pick up some things I need. So let's head over there. So let's talk about today's sponsor of today's video, LitMe. Now, when I'm in the garage, not all the time do I want to record. There are times where I just want to tinker on the computer, just mess with some settings, build a computer, and I just like to listen to music in the background. Working in the garage, it's a good way to decompress and, you know, listen to some jazz, some classical, some metal, just however I'm feeling that day. I like to listen to some music. These LitMe Cozy Fit are fantastic. They sound great, and they've definitely been checking the boxes. And you all know in this channel, boxes are good. Now, what I enjoy about it is the size. Fits in the palm of your hand, tucks easily into the pocket so you can take it on the go, and look at them. Fantastic, great quality, fits in the ear, nice and comfortable, and I'll show pictures on the screen. And for those moments where I decide to go for a nice jog or a quick run because, well, I gained some weight in the garage, these fit in the ear nice and comfortably, they don't feel tight, and they don't fall off. So now they're very simple and easy to use. They have the tap feature right over here, and just depending on how many times you tap it according to the instructions, I'll post it right over here if you want to pause it and take a look at it. You can change the volume, change to the next song, leave your phone in your pocket, never have to take it out, answer your phone calls, and the sound has been fantastic. Easy to charge with USB Type-C, has 8 hours of use, 30 hours within this container, so it keeps it nice and charged, and it only takes 2 hours to charge, so it's not bad. When I'm not recording videos and I decide to do a little bit of exercise, I take these. I've enjoyed it. I've used it for over a week, and if you're interested in getting yourselves one, I'll post a link down below. Use our code DLMTechGarage and you can save 10%. Now back to today's video. All right, Home Depot. Now we have Lowe's closer to where I live, but Home Depot seems to be the place. So I need this tubing. It's kind of crusty inside, like I talked about, and I need to get the right size. So take out the measuring tape. Looks like outside diameter 3/4, inside 1/2 inch, which we have right over here, $11. Yeah, this should work. Now, this is not going to be an ultimate high-end build. This will work. And I like the, you know, to be able to see it, get my flow. But just kind of put this into perspective. Yeah, pretty much $11, 10 feet. That should be more than enough for what I want to do. I did look at some of the ones online for the other companies, and they're like $30. This works. You know, Home Depot performance cooling solutions for your computer. Why not? So let me take a look around and see if there's anything else I might need. I do need something to fill it, as I don't have a fill bottle. And I'm not going to be able to get one because everything's closed this early, and I don't think anybody has it local. So I might have to come up with an idea of how to fill it. Maybe get a small funnel or something. So let me look around. So a trip to Lowe's and the Wally World later, and we got what we need. So I measured this, and I believe, I already forgot, I think it's 1/2 inch inner diameter, 3/4 inch outer diameter. I'm going with clear tubing. It looks cooler, it looks nice. It was like $12 for 10 feet, and I don't have to wait and order it. I think that'll be more than good enough for what I need to do. Some distilled water, as that's what's actually, well, excuse me, distilled white vinegar, as that's what we'll need to clean out the radiator and flush that out. And distilled water, so when we get this thing running, we can actually run it properly in the loop. And as cheap as that stuff is, it's worth doing it right, even though I might not run this computer long term. Definitely something to consider, but good enough for now. And pick this up because this was like on sale. This is so I can actually fill the loop. So I used to have the bottle to fill it. I think I tossed it when I was cleaning parts out because I really thought I'd never be tinkering with water cooling. Definitely regret it. But the way this thing is mounted, I could slide this thing out, open this up, just pour it in there, and hopefully fill it properly. So I think the first thing we need to do is strip this thing apart, which I'm very excited to do it. So let's jump into it. So I think the hardest part of any project is figuring out where to start. So let's unplug things, you know, that might be easy. Now, one thing I will say about this this case, and even this company that designed it, is typically like the rubber grommets you see over here. On most cases, they're just, after years, brittle, they're breaking, they're worn apart. This is like some good quality rubber, great condition, so that's actually pretty nice. Alright, so now let's disconnect these lines. I did drain everything. Whoa, and there's still water in it, so that's great. I guess we're going to find out how much water is in it in just a sec once I disconnect this. I think we did good. Man, this thing is tight on it. These fittings are coolants. Pretty nice. Decent quality in the sense that they're not like corroded and worn out. I don't know how well the camera picks this up, which it don't. There's a bunch of some green crusties in here. There's a lot of crust in there. Let's get this SLI bridge out. ASRock 3-way SLI 2S 1S. And let's first, I guess, get these graphics cards out. Probably easier to take the block out. Let's hope for the best. Wow, that's heavy. So NVIDIA GeForce GTX 980. We got the EVGA flavor, and I think this one, yeah, PNY. Oh, we got mismatch action. This one's different from that one. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do on a budget. But is it really budgeting if you're going this far with water cooling? Don't know. Let's get the board out. So we should just have this one right here, and this thing should pop right out. Now, Ziplocs are your friend, folks. I keep some just for the garage, for stuff like this. There's a lot of screws that you won't find for this case that are different, so I don't want to lose those. Also, rear I/O. Got a bunch of computers that I work on, so I don't want to mix this up. Don't want to lose stuff. All the screws and everything, hardware, fittings, we'll just pop them in here. Kind of zoomed you in. I don't know if you can see it. There's Teflon on there. Maybe these things were leaking at one point. And this right over here, you see that right over there? That's what I'm finding out of the system. So when I drained all this out and put it into the bucket, just tons of sediment like this. Yeah. Could be restricting our flow. And there's a screw here, and I think is a nut holding it in the back. All right, yellow wire tire, you gotta go, my friend. Peace out. Oh, you don't want to go? Okay, here we go. Got these ties over here. Let's disconnect this from all this mess. I think that's been in there for a while. Disconnect these fans. And this needs to go. I mean, it's actually pretty cool. If it wasn't Molex, we could probably definitely improve on this. Well, actually, now looking at it, we have the provisions for the SATA. So we could probably use this, and we will. All right, push that wire in so we can get the pump out. These are the custom wires that he did, which they're actually pretty cool. This is nice. Only thing is that kind of forces you to do the black and red theme. I mean, we could take this off and just put it to black. I don't know. We're on a budget, folks, so it might stay that way. It probably will. Let's remove you, and you're already leaking. Great. I mean, these are not tight. Actually, this is what holds the bracket that pops this in place. So let's take these out. Nothing is tight in this build. I mean, everything is loosey-goosey. And we're taking this off because, like I said, completely disassembling this thing. So for the top of the case, this just pops off. It's kind of nice. Oops. Now everything up here is being held on by these Torx, which is a great idea. No. Too big. Too big. Kind of guessing. That'll be the one. And the good news is, nothing's tight. These I might not reuse. I might just go with regular Phillips. Two left. She's ready to go. I lied. I got a bunch more I forgot about. Nope, just one over here. Oh no, there's another one. Don't drop the fans, don't drop the fans. All right, let's pull this. Gross. Now I really wish this thing had some USB in the front. That'd be kind of nice, but this stuff is not made no more. I'd have to 3D print it, which that's definitely not my forte. But like, you'd have plenty of room for a Type-C, some 3, all that good stuff. I could cut it. I don't know. Let's see how far we go down the rabbit hole. Now, taking a look at it, this piece right over here separates, so you could 3D print something like this and have provisions to add that USB stuff. So yeah, it's definitely doable. Let's get this out. We'll slide out the motherboard tray. Oh man, this thing has like capture screws with spring action. I like it. But I think that's everything that I want to take apart. So, plan of attack, not sure. But what I'm thinking is just take it out to the driveway, scrub it with some soapy water, mild soapy water, you know, the Dawn dish soap for the duckies. But it should be good enough for this. But let me take one more look. Yeah, I don't really see no reason to take anything else out. Maybe these plugs. Yeah. But even these got to be washed. So this is what I'm talking about. This one's not bad. I've actually had worse. And it has that smell, which, you know, links to the vape. It's not the smoker smell. It's the vape smell, that's for sure. And yeah, I mean, it's sticky. And yes, I know I'm touching it with my bare hands, but it's sticky. So in the case of this power supply, probably going to have to open it up and really dive into it to get all that stuff off. I'll consider it. Not sure. And the same thing over here. Just stickiness. Gross. And now for our fans. These are not too bad to clean. Isopropyl alcohol with a Q-tip. This will clean up pretty nice. The EK Vardar F150 edition, FI120, FL120. Pretty nice fans. But this is really what we're after. OC Cool. And I'll take these fittings off, and there's more Teflon in here. I mean, is that normal for this stuff to leak? But, I mean, whatever. But you can see we got that, you know, the crust on it. Other than that, it don't look too bad, but then again, we can't see the internals. Can you guys see it? I definitely can't. But we'll get it right. We'll open up this. I mean, this thing, you could like, wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got options with this. I mean, lots and lots of options. But still, pretty cool. 4 120s. I think that gets the job done. All right, so let's turn our attention to the water blocks. So let's take off this water block. Get your hand tight. At least something was tight in this computer. I think it's really stuck on there. Maybe it wasn't ran much, but I mean, this thermal paste looks semi-fresh. Maybe he just took it off, repasted it. I mean, thermal paste 6, 7, 8 years. Does it really stay that gooey? I've never ran across any that has. Unless this is some really good stuff. If that's the case, I need to get his secrets. Like I talked about in the last video, bonus 250 gig M.2. He said he didn't have a drive with it. He took everything out. I mean, the blocks were blocking it, so I guess he forgot about it. Not sure, but either way, that's a win. We'll leave that in there. So this board is pretty good. Works as far as we know. There we go. We'll put in this box until we're ready for it. See you later, friend. So I definitely don't have all the right tools for this, using what I have, but you know, we'll just keep going. I'm assuming this is how you take it apart. I've never taken one apart. First time ever dealing with this type of stuff. Well, at least quality stuff. The last one I used was the cheap Chinese stuff. So, perfect. Alright. Now, these are the same blocks. Yep. Let's get these blocks off and see how the thermal paste looks. That is definitely not the right tool for that. We'll just use this. I could use my iFixit toolkit, but I'm just being lazy, I'll be honest with you. I gotta find it. Not sure where I put it last time I used it. So we're just gonna assume that that's everything. And it's still leaking. You know, water in electronics doesn't seem natural, but it's efficient. And I guess if you do it the right way and not the halfway that I'm doing it, you don't have to worry about all this dripping that I'm doing. Looking at it, there's one more up here that needs to come out. I think I could pull it. All right. These thermal pads look fantastic. Thermal paste, dry as a bone. I mean, I'm rubbing into it and nothing is really coming on my finger or thumb. So I think they replaced the thermal paste on that CPU cooler or CPU block. That's what I'm going to assume. Just get that off so I don't make a mess everywhere. And now we're going to take all this off. They didn't even remove the foil from this. Oh yeah, now it's legit. Let's double check. No O-rings over here. We have the leak tested QC passed sticker, which that'll come off when everything else comes off. This is what I'm really curious about. How does this look? Get these screws out. And here we go. Let's probably open it this way. Considering this is not bad. I was expecting worse. I still got two other blocks, the CPU and the other one, that could have junk in it. But I mean, this is not terrible at all. Only a little goo up here, which is kind of gross. But this will clean off real nice, and this should work just fine. The gasket is still raised and puffy, so kind of like a water pump or something with a car. That's the best way I could compare it. Sometimes you have those rubber gaskets, and if they're puffy, you can reuse them. I think like intake manifold gaskets or throttle body gaskets. Maybe not a water pump. They kind of use that paper gasket. But either way, this looks really good. So, not bad. This up here, yeah, a lot of goo. Ew. Yeah, we could clean this up real nice, and I don't foresee any issues with this. All right, well, I guess this was the block that was used the most, I would assume, because this one's really got some green crusties. The fins are kind of, do I have something to pick it out with? The fins got that, yeah, junk in it. So I don't know, maybe the other one didn't get used as much, and not sure how that works. I mean, I'm new to water cooling, so let me know. And of course, this has all that slime and grit and just nastiness on it. So okay, I can see some flow obstructions just with that. Oh yeah, look at that green crusty. Woo! Yeah, it's gonna be great. But we'll clean that up. Gasket still feels good, so that's a plus thing. But the more I dive into this, I don't think that he actually neglected this. I think he tried to fix it and just was like, bump it. And the reason why is that this water block is actually missing one of these screws, so we're gonna have to go to Lowe's and find one. I mean, it's not gonna be pretty, but I don't want that to leak. And the thermal paste, I've cleaned it off on this one, but I left it over here. Feels pretty fresh. So, not sure. And then the other thing too is there's actually signs of leak action on this. Looks like something got on it. So this one's going to require a little more love and care. But this one did work. This one was the primary one. This is the PNY one. It was at the top and it worked. So I'm going to assume that this was the primary one. I don't know. But either way, I didn't get no artifacting, but then again, we weren't able to stress test it. So yeah, look at all that gunk on it. That's pretty bad. All right, water block time. Let's see how we get these off. This could be interesting. Oh yeah, like that. Now this block, Supreme HF. Whoa. What's behind door number 2? Yep. A lot of gunk in there. Gasket feels good. This has some chunks in there, so yeah, I think this comes out. Yep, sure does. Wow. Some nice chunks. So, looks like we got our work cut out for us. So now I can imagine how this pump looks. Let's take this apart. Kind of like automotive, when you take it apart, put it back, put the screws back, give yourself breadcrumbs. You know, that way you know where things go. This way. Man, I'm stuck tight. We'll get to that one. Let's take this out. See what our pump looks like. Oh, this thing smells really bad. Whew! Gosh. So we gotta remember, orange on the bottom, black on top. I have my doubts about this pump. I'm glad that came off easy. Wow. And it's pretty gunky. And this over here, it's covered in all that gunk. The fin's got junk in it. Just cleaning that stuff off, this thing is moving so much smoother. It was really gritty. I have hope now. But we'll definitely give this a good bath. Let's get this guy off. We got some of the grit on here. O-ring looks good though. See what the bottom is. Does that twist off? Nope, definitely does not. It does. And they put this stuff on it. I don't know if that's stuff they put on it or what. That's that green stuff. More of the black stuff. So this is definitely going to need a good scrubbing. Oh wow, look at all this. There's a lot of corrosion on this, folks. Starting to wonder, is this even salvageable? That did not sound good. Hopefully we didn't strip out any threads. Well. Once again, more of this stuff all in it. We got a lot of cleaning to do. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to switch to the montage because we got to scrub and clean the case, get the vape juice off of it. We got to flush, clean all this stuff out, make sure all this junk is, I mean, you'll never get it 100%, but you'll get it better than what it was, and that's kind of what I'm going for. So we got a lot of cleaning. I know the pump works because when we were in the BIOS in the last video, we saw that it was spinning at 2,000 RPMs. I think one of the issues that it's having is just restrictions from all this junk. I'm not sure. I've never dealt with water cooling. Is that just, you know, because they didn't use distilled water? I mean, this is rust. Corrosion's one thing, but rust is another. Oh my gosh. So let's switch to the montage. Let's clean this, and when we come back, I'll show you how well it looks, doesn't look, worked, or doesn't work. We'll see. So this has been a long day. This has definitely been almost a all-day project. So we've gotten everything mostly clean. The graphics cards look really good. The back plates, or the actual GPU blocks, came out a lot better. You could tell which one was the primary and the secondary, as the secondary has barely any use on it, but the primary one was the PNY. I switched everything over to the EVGA, as that's the nicer looking one. Put the back plate on it, and yeah, that looks pretty good, and that'll run pretty nice. Fresh thermal paste on both of them, and we'll make our PNY one our secondary card. One thing I am very proud of is how clean this came out. I kind of had that sticky stuff, that black stuff, and the green stuff. Everything was kind of stuck, and I couldn't get it off. A trick that I just came up with, and I don't know if it's a common practice or not, I used Goo Gone and a microfiber, and it literally just melted it right off. I mean, just came right off easy, not an issue. Then washed the whole thing with soap and water, and this thing looks brand new compared to how bad it was before. All these fittings are nice and clean, ready to go. The CPU block looks way better. And in fact, I need to take it apart because I'm glad I saw this. As you can see, that thing is shifted, so we're gonna have to open this up and fix that. Great. Power supply, did that off camera, opened it up and cleaned it, as like I said, there was a lot of stuff that needed to be done. And I'm very happy because the case is nice and clean. Got rid of all the vape juice. It looks so much better. None of that dust and crust. And it makes good storage for the rest of the parts. Cleaned out the fans. Everything's clean. So this thing is good and ready to go, but unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to finish it in this video. And the reason being is that I still got stuff I need to get. One of them being these screws. I need to go to the local hardware store, pick one up with the same thread pitch. It's not going to look or match, but it will work, and it will clamp it down, as the GPU block was missing one. So we definitely got to do that. I got to get some storage stuff together. A couple of other ideas and some other things that I'm thinking about trying to implement in here. So I'm a little torn on it, and actually I got a lead on a 2080 for $100 because it has a water block on it. I might snag that up for this build because that actually might be pretty cool. And then, you know, compare between 2080, 290, just have fun with it. That's what I want to do, is just have fun with it. So yeah, still got a lot of stuff to do. So we're going to end the video here, and hopefully in the next video, we should be able to get back on track, get this thing put back together, fire it up, see how everything runs, our temperatures, and if all this was worth it. And I will say this, a lot of you are probably saying it's not worth it. Oh, the hardware, you're wasting your time. This is fun. This is how I learn. This is a great way to learn water cooling, how to clean it, how to manage it, how to set it up. This is a great way to learn. I'd rather learn with something used and abused than something brand new and messed it up. So, I mean, older hardware is how you learn, and that's the best thing I can say for it. Yeah, there is some money to be made if you do decide to flip it, but this is great for learning. I'm happy to be doing it, and hopefully I get better at it. So comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, concerns, criticisms, all this cleaning, any suggestions you think that I could have done to clean this thing better, and how do you think it's going to run when it's done? If you like this video, definitely hit the like button, subscribe if you're not, and as always, we'll see what we come up with next, and stay tuned for part 3.